of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without, because he will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombia.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby. This is my show. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We're about to get started here. It is a pleasure to be back with you on this fine Wednesday and to see you all in the chat. Cavorting about, is that a word? Cavorting? Cajoling? You're doing stuff in the chat. You're going nuts. You're full of energy like me, and it's great to have you back here, okay? What's up, Snake Pit? Hello, people. Anchor Baby here. Callers already waiting. And look, we got a bit of a show for you today. I'd love to get into it here live on YouTube. And if you want to call the Anchor Baby here, I'm in the chair, so it's 888-775-3773. If you want to get on the air, get something off your chest, speak about what you want, I'm here for you a little bit after I talk about my stuff, okay? First things first. A little housekeeping here to the people watching on YouTube, rumble.com/American Anchor Baby, dlive.tv/Gorgonzola, and punchy.tv/Anchor Baby, punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. All issues resolved, so please enjoy the stream there as well. So welcome, everybody. What can I say? We got some stuff I've been meaning to get to. Some tariff talk, U.S. aid, Doge. There's some stuff I do want to mention. It's not particularly like the nitty-gritty is too fascinating, but Canada is involved. And everybody's talking about trade war. And I keep hearing a term thrown around. And when they throw around words like this, my spidey senses go off. I'm like, do they know what they're talking about? Do I know what I'm talking about? Rarely do I know what I'm talking about. But that's why I know when others don't know what they're talking about. I'm good at this. So, they're throwing around words, and I want to maybe cut through a little bit. And you might find it interesting. If we get to it even, look, I'm going to take my time. I like to talk about what interests me. So hard-hitting news, right? We'll get to it. All that and your calls and super chats and all that. It's a pleasure to be back. Pleasure to have you here. In fact, I'm going to kick it off with a call. I don't want to keep her waiting. I don't want to keep you waiting, Madi. Madi is actually holding for me. And I heard her on the Joel Friday show. Let's kick it off with Madi. Let me say hello. A little love from Madi. How you doing? You're on the air.
Hola, mi amor. How you doing?
What's up, Madi? I heard you call me the little baby boy.
No, I said my boy.
I'm joking. I'm messing with you.
But I said you're my love.
No, I know how you meant it. I know.
I was just making sure my boys are good.
The boys are doing well, for sure. You know, I heard the fires are that they are relatively they're pretty much contained, I think. I thought I had the info for you. Are they contained? They're saying as of now, the major wildfires, Palisades and Eden, are contained. LAFD.org. So there you go.
Do you guys know the percentage of the contained or no?
I don't know. I'm just getting a little thing here, LAFD.org. I'm getting it through a source through ChatGPT. So I'll tell you that they're saying it's fully contained. Fully contained are the words on the website.
I gotta keep checking in on my boy. Sorry, it takes so long for me to talk with you guys because I work.
Well, no problem. Madi, hope you're well, the fam and all that. Thanks for checking in and supporting as always.
My daughter's going to turn 17 Friday, and then we're going to spend our 20-year anniversary together, and then, so on.
Right on, Madi. Well, wishing you well. Thanks for always watching and supporting over the years.
You're my boy. There you go.
Big time. All right. Call me
back.
Have
a good one. Yes, sir.
Bye-bye. 888-775-3773. How can he be a man when he's a baby? We really got to get that. We really got to find that moment, but that we never clipped. How can he be? That's what I was thinking of. And if anyone knows who even said that, a caller back in the day. How can you be a man? You call yourself a baby, the Anchor Baby. And I got some stuff on my mind. Before we get to some news, look, we kind of got into it a little bit. Yesterday, you were informed about a meme format, shall we call it? It's the midwit meme. I think that's one way to describe it. You got the IQ distribution, and most people, and they're relatively smart, and the average IQs come up with some of the craziest things. So And we were talking a little bit about 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍�, but I don't know anything about that. My show yesterday got a big thing saying vaccines are very, very, let me even find it. But my show from yesterday, and there I go, maybe doing it again. 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 are very important. They stopped all sorts of diseases that people were dying from back in the day. And thanks to them, I'm even pulling it up. Thanks to them, to the vaccines, the people are healthy and not dying. Where did it go? Did they remove it? Have I been freed? They must have looked at the episode, because this used to say, it used to have a little thing here saying, warning people about misinformation about 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. They must have watched the episode. Thank you, because you heard me say how they're probably a pillar of society, of population, and RFK probably agrees with that. Okay? So anyways, we're talking a little bit about midwits. And this came across too. It's almost like, Sarah, I don't know what the word is, but it's like someone's trying to make a show for me. Just lining up stories, putting them right next to each other, just to talk about stuff. Signpost. Very attractive and very unattractive men show the highest hostility towards women. Shout out to the very attractive and very unattractive in the chat. You don't have to say which one you are, but tell me, is this true? You don't have to tell me which you can't tell. You don't have to say. You don't have to say in the chat. The horseshoe theory of intelligence. What is this? I'm responding to my chat if you're confused. Chris in the chat is talking about the horseshoe theory of intelligence. LOL, shocking, ego. Come on, in the chat. You don't have to say. But they show the highest hostility. What do the lowest, what is it? What do the extremes of the bell curve both see that the rest don't? What is this? Or are they just, what's going on here? Signpost, the article itself is somewhat interesting. Signpost. Psychological post? I don't know. They're psychologists, okay? They're like into the mind. You know how psychologists are? You gotta be careful. They're like into the mind. They may have interesting ways to describe things. It may help you visualize certain things, but they're into the mind and into like I think that's one way of describing sensuality, being too into the senses. I wonder if psychologists think they are or are not their thoughts, feelings, etc. Recent study of men found that those who perceive themselves, they make that stipulation. Hold up. That men who perceive themselves as either the most attractive or the least attractive tend to show higher levels of hostility towards women compared to men with average view of their attractiveness. That totally does not track with anecdotal and like news stuff. Check it out. Let me paint a picture for you. Very unattractive end of the spectrum. We don't, let me see. Who do I pick? Okay, this is just, I don't mean anything by this. It's just whatever. I'm just trying to pick an incel. Let me just type incel. Let me not pick a person. Whatever. This is a perfect example. There you go. The supreme gentleman. Would he consider himself very unattractive? I don't know. Maybe this is not fair. But he did consider himself unloved and just rejected by women on a huge level. He really believed this to such a point that he went crazy. He got mad and like committed a bad thing. Okay, I forget the deets. They call him the supreme gentleman. And let me show you maybe on the other end of the spectrum. Maybe this tracks with real life a little bit. Wait, is this a fair example? I'm just trying to think of like this guy was the internet. He was like a convict or something, and I think he was in for like beating women. But his photo went viral because, and I'm so terrible. I shouldn't say that about Jeremy Meeks without knowing. But I am trying to convicted felon arrested during a drug gang sweep. Jeremy Meeks' wife talks about the moment she was yeah, I'm getting this from something. I'm not getting this totally from nothing, but the vibe I'm describing is how women and this person's photo went viral because he was the hottest convict or something like that. And women fawn over, women fawn over like killers in jail. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they're all attractive. But okay, you following the vibe a bit? Side note, I actually saw this guy. I straight up saw this guy at the Target, a Target in Los Angeles. I'm not joking. I was like, Jeremy Meeks? I could have blurted it out and he turned around. Because, I don't know, it's kind of how I am a little bit. Jeremy Meeks? But anyways, does that track a little bit? What do y'all think? Let me look at what chat's saying. Does that track a little tiny bit? Jesus looks way more attractive than him. Nice, Karen Williams. Right on, Karen Williams. Nick's little brother. Who are you talking about? Supreme Gentleman or Jeremy Meeks? I think they're talking about the Supreme Gentleman. Stop that. Don't make fun of me in my chat. That's how you get made fun of. So you get it a little bit, right? The vibe is, does it track? Does the bell curve track? Do they, even in their worst thinking, get something about women that other people don't, that the rest don't? I think maybe a little bit. Like they both know how shallow they are. And how they lie when they cry. If I may summarize, without having to go on a diatribe or anything. But they're evil. Like the whole love thing. They know how shallow they are. So I bet you they do get something. But they got mad. They got mad somewhere along the way. And I noticed that no one loves women. No one loves them. Nobody loves the women. Maybe only, I don't know. Maybe only Trump, who really appreciates them, puts them. He's talking up this, what's her name? Pam Bondi. He's talking her up big time. I don't know if I like the women in these positions, but in these times, women have made themselves quite competent in certain things and whatever. But nobody loves them. Nobody does. It's the people who are like, I know the truth about them and I see that they're shallow and we're the bell curve. We're incels. We call I don't know. There are all sorts of people. It's a big thing online, right? It's like hours and hours of content on women. Maybe I'm part of it, but what can I say? There's nobody that loves them. And I wanted to almost give you an example of this. Yeah, let me move on to this example. Might as well. They don't. Nobody loves them. So how do I put this? Because this was going around. She's a comedian. Her name is Natalie. Natalie. I'm remembering a Patrice O'Neal skit, I think, bit. All of a sudden. Talked about him yesterday. Hake mentioned him too. R.I.P. So young. I don't know if I knew he died at 41, but I think he had a bit about white women and being lost, and how if you want attention and you get lost, something like being a white woman, they get a lot of. And he's like, Natalie. Natalie's a comedian, and her clip is going viral because she's getting heckled, and they're saying, some people are saying, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, and this is her taking care of this heckler, I guess. Handling this heckler. Dealing with this heckler. You got to do that as a comedian. You got to do that a little bit. I can't unsee Nick the Supreme Gentle. Stop it. This is my chat. You're not supposed to do this in my chat. petulant anchor baby. That's kind of funny. I like that. I could do it. Okay. Natalie here is going to handle this heckler, and I want you to watch this, okay? Let us watch Natalie. Natalie. Tell us. Okay, well, let me full screen this. Put it at the right volume.
Right now,
well, I can roast you too. You can't just roast all of us.
I can roast you too. It's already contentious. Hold up.
Right now,
well, I can roast you too. You can't just roast all of us and get nothing.
Whoa! Sorry, I'm already interjecting, but that's something I love about being the instigator. Oh no way, bro!
I see. So you were afraid because you felt like I was saying you're gay.
I can take the mic if you want.
What? You called him gay? Something must have happened before this. We don't know.
It's okay. He's your new friend.
I will say this, it is such a hard time in this world right now. There are so many people that came together to be supportive and fucking amazing.
Whoa, swears. Alert. Swears alert. No bleeps. Plug those little bambino's ears.
Putting negative... No, fucking look me in the eyes. You're putting negative fucking energy
Whoa!
out here. This is the last show of my fucking...
Did you see how she just turned? Can we just do a quick replay so we can get past this clip and all the swearing? Because I'm only, I don't want to replay it again. Wait. Oh, Lord. Here it is. The flip.
No, fucking look
me in the eyes. No.
Fucking energy out here. This is the last show of my fucking... Look me in the fucking eyes.
Oh, my.
Look at me.
She's making me blush.
Fucking
why are you cussing
at me? It's a
sold
out show, and you want to say mean shit to me, okay? So don't fucking do that.
You see how whoa, yeah, go girl. Yeah, they're cheering her. You did it. This is the most amazing. This is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Says this post, and she is angry. Says positively perfect observation. She putting the energy out there, all right. She's too pretty to be funny. And, I haven't seen her comedy, but this came across my feed, and I just thought, I've seen people handle hecklers a little better. I didn't think too much of it, but what can I say? The little nag got to me. I'm like, wait, but how did this clip start? What happened here? I still haven't quite found that, but I may have a little bit more for you. A little bit more info. But this Natalie Cuomo is her name. No relation. Natalie Cuomo. And maybe she's funny. I don't know. Like Adam Friedland said on the Fallen State, only blacks and Jews are funny, and not women. But what is it? So it seems like we get maybe a little bit more here. It sounds like it seems like, and I don't know if this is common to her set. She does some crowd work. Okay, she does crowd work, and there's people good at this. You've seen the crowd work. They just really just talk to the crowd. Like, what do you do? Oh yeah, you do that. And why do you do that? Just talk to the crowd. And it can get a little roasty. It can get that's what makes it funny. It can get, and it's a total art form, right? Comedy's on the internet, so now people are trying their takes on it and spins, and so, So I gather that she's like doing crowd work, and she basically alluded that it skips here, but again, we still don't quite get info, but it sounds like she's calling him, like making him look like he's gay with whoever he came with to the shindig. She also seems a little peeved that people are on their phones. It's what we're gathering here. They love her. Natalie. Maybe she's like a regular. I've been to comedy clubs where there's regulars, and
you can leave.
You can leave. Okay. Caption says he leaves. So I guess she told someone to leave. She's not happy.
This guy's texting his friend. It's so cute.
This guy texting his friends. It's so cute.
You can leave too. I won't be offended.
Oh! She took the phone. Taking the mic. Did this happen before the heckle or after? We still don't know.
LOL, LOL, what a
Read
fucking
it.
clown. I did.
LOL. Sorry, I'm talking over it. Read it. They're telling her to read it. She does.
LOL, what a fucking clown. I did warn you I would get kicked out. Man, she is sensitive, especially for a comedian.
Wow. Oh, they felt the pain, but like, no. Flip it over, crowd. Hey. They're like, oh, that hurt. Wait, no. Cheer. Like, no, just cheer over the pain. Just cheer over the pain. Man, she's sensitive, especially for a comedian. I can only gather the sensitive moment already happened. But did you catch it? She's reading the text. And he's, who I could gather is either friend or the heckler or friends with the heckler, is typing to someone else and says, I did warn you I would get kicked out, man. She is sensitive, especially for a comedian. The second part of that, I feel like it kind of hit. I feel like that's what we're seeing. We're observing someone sensitive, and the crowd is we're all seeing it. We're all seeing the same thing. But the first part of that reveals something about that heckler or whoever this is. You fell for the setup, Natalie. This person already came in with a problem. Don't you know the world is full of problems? Don't you know people are angry? People got problems. People got major problems. And he looks like he came looking for one. And you took the bait. And that's how the world is, angry, waiting for you to take the bait, always throwing stuff out there, and just waiting for someone to come at you and say something. If in one way, shape, or another, you can be like a really nice person, and it's the same spirit. Waiting for someone to just not appreciate your niceness. You understand? You really got thorns. You're ready to strike. And that's how the world is. She took the bait. It's like antisocial people playing music loud in the subway system. They're begging for someone to say, turn your music down, so that they can now fight them. So what can I say? She took the bait. It's sad. You're seeing it happen here. What else did I want to say about this real quick? Oh, Lord. They're cheering her. They're like, it's okay, Natalie. And it's funny. They all felt that pain, too. They almost reacted viscerally. And it's like isn't that how you react? You like feel pain, and then you just think of another thought that undoes that pain. No, that person's lying. That person doesn't even know what they're talking about. That person's stupid anyways. They're misogynists. They hate women or... You know? Don't you do that? So now she's like, yeah, cheer. Woo-hoo! They got kicked out or they left. And it's like, wow, that's over. And I realize nobody loves women. Everybody hates women. They're like the attractive guys, and they're like, they just like use them, and they mutually use each other, but it's dark, and it's like just sexual, and it can get nasty. Sometimes it's just a rock star life. It turns into domestics, and you get mess, or you're an incel. Shout out to the incels. I don't even like all these terms they throw around. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good how we just to really get at the real understanding, but you understand who I'm talking about at least a little bit. And they hate them too. They have their theories, whatever. They're angry, right? I'm leaving aside whatever things people are right about. It's like at least they get that they're evil. And in some ways, these MGTOWs, incels, they're not like little doughy-eyed people like the rest of the world, not realizing that, but that's really not the point here. They're angry. And nobody loves them too. But I realize even further though, everybody else doesn't love them either. They're saying, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. This is do you see how the world treats women? Yeah, they abuse them. They lie about them. They hate them. They become little hateful people because that over time and they're online and they're in the forums and they think women hit the wall and right, okay, fine. They rape them too. Okay, fine. But this is how the world treats them. All those incel, all these little things you want to argue about, it's like those are the real evil people that hate women. This is the rest of them. This is not, we're talking about the 90%. 99%? I don't know. 95 of the rest of the world. This is how they treat women. They don't love them. They hate them. They imagine a man doing this, and you'll excuse me for doing the, the double standards. Like, it's a fine conversation to have, but that's not the one I'm trying to have right now. It's a double standard. I'm painting this picture where imagine a man, look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes. This is a hard time right now. This is a hard time for all of us. And we're putting out amazing stuff, and you're putting out negative energy in the effing eyes. I would get up. This is not comedy. This is a ish show. This is a ish show, but it gets excused, right? Because, I don't know, women and love, lies, pure lies. So it's like, why do we gotta treat them like that, man? Aren't we supposed to be equals? And I don't even like that, right? Because it's like, they use that word terribly. It's not, I don't even think it's in the Bible. But aren't we... There is an equality in the Bible, right? How God loves us. How God loves men, women, all of us. So doesn't that show us something? And how wrong the world is in this? And blind. So anyways, what do y'all think? Because, all these people don't love this lady. They hate her. They hate her and feel bad for her. So what else about this? You guys are stuck on you guys are talking about the tattoos. Yeah, what a mess. It doesn't look good. It's like, they call it graffiti and all that, but it's like, you done did it to yourself. You done did it. It's like, calm down. It can still be a cool image, whatever. But yeah, it's like graffiti. It doesn't look right. And it feels like a lot more people are coming out of like a spell. And it's like, this looks funny. This looks weird. This looks like scrawlings on something. It shouldn't be there. But it was like a hypnotism or something. Because I remember even young thinking, I don't know if I would do something like that, but it looks cool. And the only thing that stopped me is because every idea I came up with soon after, and I'm glad the turnaround was quick, and I don't know what I would have done if it wasn't. But every idea I ever had for a tattoo, like days after, I'd be like, oh man, that's stupid. I hate that. It looks terrible. 888-775-3773. Callers coming in. One drop. Call me back. I'll get right to you. Let's get to Jaden. Let me see what else about this. Wrap this up with a bow. We're going to get to more stuff. Let's get to Jaden first. Get to some calls here. Jaden, California. Thanks for your call. You're on the air.
Yo, Nick, what is with these women? They don't know how to dress, bro. First of all.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Go on.
They either dress like complete sluts or they dress like this chick, like they're trying to look like a man. Like, what happened to just wearing like a dress and just being like a 1950s, just like a decent... Because that's what men really like. Like, you would agree, like, we really just want a woman who's just wearing a dress, right? Do they think it's attractive to be looking like a man or something?
To be attracted to tomboy thing. The tomboy thing is kind of, it's a style. It's a style. You can rock it. Here's the thing. There is a forgot how to dress thing going on. Okay. Maybe we could nitpick about styles and stuff, but you're absolutely correct. I've seen it too. And also it's only because I've seen it when it's done kind of well. I see how badly we've all kind of become slobs and just don't know when to put on this for what. Like, there's a reason for dress. And yeah, I gotta say, I don't know if I like the whole like tattoo. I don't even like this. I like the tomboy thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's really her vibe or anything. No, I like the tomboy thing. It depends on yeah, you could be done right. It could be done real. It could be done like nice. You can wear baggy but nice.
Maybe if you're like not trying to act like a man, sure, I guess. But
totally, you got to throw up the feminine. Yeah.
Yeah, but to answer, you showed a graph where it said men on both ends of the spectrum of attractiveness are hostile towards women.
Yes.
And I think I know why.
Okay.
The ugly men is obvious. They're not getting any play, so they're angry about that. But the hot men.
I want to. You know what I want to say? I disavow play. Sorry, hake in my head. Go on.
I believe that the hot men. There's two reasons why they're hostile towards women. Because first of all, to be hot, they're talking about like 9, 10. This is the opposite of the spectrum, right? To be that hot,
I think
you have to have the woman's mindset, right? Because to care that much about your looks to like maximize to all the way to 10, you have to be a woman in the first place or have a woman's mindset. So they're already hostile like women are.
Are you talking about? Sorry. Please.
They get so much attention from girls, and I've actually noticed this. Guys get way more attention. You know how they say girls' DMs are blown up? Dude, if you're a high-value man, your DMs get blown up 10 times more than a high-value woman. That's why kings always have 100 women near them, and queens only have like 1 or 2 like men, you know? But they get so much attention from girls, and if they're not in that spiritual, like working on themselves, they're just going to see what these women are, which is just evil and insecure, and they're just going to use it for sex. And then that's because that's all women value is. Whenever they're flirting with you, it's always just sexual. They don't really have anything else. So I can understand why they would grow resentful. Just like those girls who get, angry at guys for asking them out because they get asked out so many times. Those are the two reasons I suspect that hot guys are hostile towards women.
I think you're directionally correct here. Makes sense. They end up judging them. But they get a taste of women's behavior that most people don't, where they are, willing to, let go. There's rules and morality, but that doesn't exist where you're these whatever you called or maybe most attractive, high value. You see the worst parts of they say the men that cheat and blah blah blah, but when you're a guy like that, you see the worst parts of women. So you're making sense, man. And the attractiveness thing is funny. You're making me think of a theory of mine. They talk about horseshoe theories of this and that. I have my own horseshoe theory of what do you even call this? I have images of Prince up right now. You know Prince?
He's like a black guy, right?
He's a what?
A black guy?
Yeah. He's not just a black guy. But yeah, Prince. He's a black guy. American singer, songwriter, musician.
Yeah.
But anyways, Prince, if you ever seen him, he's got this look to him. What do you call this? He's like sex god, But and who else am I thinking of? There's others. Maybe this is also an era specific thing. Maybe Michael Jackson. Maybe whatever. There's others where they're like so sexual that it becomes they cross over into the feminine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. So it's not really like a spectrum; it's like a circle.
It's like a circle, man. Yeah. So
yeah, well, I got another theory. Instead of the attractiveness bell curve of hating women, I got the IQ bell curve of hating women. So you got the dumb, drunk, like construction worker on one side saying like, "Man, if women didn't have P words, we'd hunt them for sport. Women can't do nothing." And then you got the guys in the middle, the liberals, saying women are equal, right? And then you got on the right hand side, you got like the Schopenhauer. You should look.
What he said. I know Schopenhauer. What he said about women.
Yep, Schopenhauer. You got whoever wrote Ecclesiastes 7:28. There's no righteous woman in the world. Like,
describe. Wait, I'm not following. Help me again, because you're hitting something here. Try again with me.
You got the low end of the IQ. You got the drunk man who's saying women ain't worth nothing.
Gotcha.
And we hunt them for sport. And then the middle is the liberals, and then the high IQ is like Schopenhauer saying women are designed by the evil one to pull us back into the physical world through, lusting us, Like,
damn. Yeah. Like, you have to be a midwit to be like, well, no, it's like they're all individuals, and it comes down to like, it's like, that would be the midwit, the varied and good take. But the extreme radicals, the dumb drunk, and the hick, or whatever, just the uneducated fool, and like Schopenhauer, like, no, women are evil.
Yeah. And I wanted to talk about something you said on Punchy real quick. Or you guys were discussing makeup.
Okay.
And when I see a girl with makeup, like, you know, of course there's like you put on like a little bit of makeup, whatever. But when I can tell she's wearing makeup, this is how I view it. Is the same as a guy who's wearing like Ray-Bans or some cool sunglasses, right? Because I used to do that. And what it does is when you're wearing it, you feel like a different person, and you get like an ego of being like cool. So I would literally act differently. Like I would have my sunglasses in school and just be like lean back in my chair. Anyone came up to me, I'd be like, "What do you want, bro?"
Hey.
But then as soon as I take it off, I just go back to normal.
It's like the mask.
So I suspect women do the same thing with makeup. They act a completely different way when they're wearing it because they view themselves as a different person, like ego-wise. And that's really, because, you know, women say they don't do it for men, they do it for themselves. I believe that's true. They do it for an ego of thinking they're like a different person because they hate themselves.
I think that's fair, man. I've heard an expression too. It's like, are you wearing the clothes or are the clothes wearing you? I bet you can expand that to everything you said.
Are you
it's like
wearing
the Are you wearing? Yeah, are you wearing the clothes or were they wearing you? I think that's more describing ill-fitting clothes, but you could probably like make it spiritual. You know, it's like the sunglasses were wearing you in school, like the mask. Right. You know.
You know what I mean, Nick? Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
Wear sunglasses and not feel an ego.
Are you asking me if that's possible?
Yeah. Have you ever done that?
I'll let you know when I wear sunglasses. No, and my personality doesn't totally suave up.
I know, bro. Something's happened, bro. When you're wearing, you feel cool, bro, like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I know, Tom Cruise. But that's what you're supposed to do with sunglasses, so it's okay. We'll overcome.
I guess, bro. Well, thanks for entertaining my
yes, sir.
My theory.
Well, we kept it under 10, sir. Thank you for your call. Anything else you want to say before we move the wheels?
Yeah, why do you think that the attractive men are the most hostile?
It's essentially what we talked about. They ended up they're privy to a behavior for women most people don't get, and they see their worst sides and they're willing to, but they got angry over it, right? But I don't know if it's all of them too, because this. You know, this thing says they show hostility. What's hostility? Could it just be not giving them attention, right? You know, so right. I think there's in this umbrella of that headline, there's even the guys who are just, you know, not mad necessarily, but to summarize, it's essentially that they see a behavior others don't, and they've judged it.
I do want to add one more thing real quick. I noticed throughout my life that hot people are actually better people.
You think so?
Because I suspect it stems from childhood. I used to be an ugly duckling, and I was so bitter. But then as soon as I started, you know, self-improving, going to the gym, becoming hot, that's when I found God. That's when I started becoming just like a nice, like no worries person. And it's like, if you look at, you know, just think of the typical stereotype, archetype of like a jock, dumb jock, hot jock, right? Mm-hmm. At least he's just like living life, bro. But then you think of the stereotype of like the angry, bitter, like nerd. He's trying to kill the jock, bro, because the jock is killing all the women.
And he's like a victim.
Just something about, yeah.
The world, it's like they did. How come they get the stuff that I deserve? It's like, what?
Right. Hot people are just. I'd rather hire a hot person than an ugly person.
You should judge a book by its cover.
Right.
No, I'll say this to what you're saying. I used to think like beautiful people are full of character flaws, and it was like the world's way of what I call is balancing things. But over the years, over time, I've met just as many beautiful people, very attractive that you would think vapid, blah blah, but are just smart, insightful. I've met just as many people that are ugly and whatever, or became ugly ducklies. I've met them all, and I can't conclude. I gotta say, in my mind, it's a blur of all these different hearts that I can't even totally see. So what can I say,
Well, let
man?
me ask you this, Nick, so we can prove it. Would you rather hang out with a bunch of, who do you think is going to be better, like, personality for you to hang around, right? If you got to adopt their personality. The nerds in school who got bullied or like the Baywatch like jocks, bro?
I don't think you could know. I think it's just as possible that you get a nerd who's just, I don't know, man. Like, I've met them all. I used to really think that really strongly that you're beautiful. You're like, you have character flaws, and it's like this balancing thing. But I've met equal amounts, if not more, ugly, honest people, beautiful, honest people, beautiful people who are just vapid, and ugly people who are vapid. Like,
no, I get it.
I'm sorry, fence sitter. I'm so annoying, but I'm not giving you an answer.
I know. Well, it's my fault. I asked the question wrong because nerds, are reclusive. How about, would you rather hang around? Who's going to be a better person? The people, the Baywatch type jocks, or those like outcasts? I listen to like heavy metal rock. I listen to. I want to be like the cool, like those type of people, bro. They got colored hair and all that. Like, who's going to be a better person?
Who's going to be a better person?
Yeah.
I hate this question. They're both bad. But look, who are you going to have? Who are you going to have better? Who are you going to just have easier, more fruitful interactions that lead to like what? All shallow things. All shallow things. Better business and better whatever. It's the person who's not antisocial. So Baywatch, I guess.
Baywatch,
but that's I'm not answering your who's a better person question there. I can't.
Who do you suspect to be a better person?
I can't even do that. No, I suspect they're both quite evil. Bro. But
I would suspect
to the core, I'd say they're
Baywatch.
both quite evil to the freaking core, man. You don't know people. You don't know hearts.
No. You trust a Baywatch person over an outcast with red hair.
I might agree with that. I might agree with that a little. Yeah. I'm trying to. I get you directionally a little, but on the hard, better person stuff. But hey, what else you want to say? Last thing you want to say, Jaden?
Bro. Don't be a beta, bro. Be hot.
Don't be a beta. Be hot.
You're gonna become alpha.
Only uglies and pores are. I don't know. All right, man.
Well, listen, Nick. I've never seen somebody who is hot, who is a beta. I've never seen it.
Oh, come on.
They might be beta sexually, like they're after
no. On this, you're totally wrong. I can think of a few right now. But listen, there's stuff directionally interesting about what you're saying. I mean, like, for example, it's like, you know how they'll say poor people. It's like poor people, something else is their problem. No, usually it's themselves. Usually it's their, and if you get to it, it's immorality. It's they don't want to get better. They don't want to work hard. They want to be lazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's something to be said about the standing you're in and the life you're in.
Oh, wait,
and part of that is even attractiveness. I wouldn't say like the body you're born in, but the way you treat yourself and the way you carry yourself, it adds a lot to how you look. So it's not entirely wrong.
Like self-improvement. Yeah, looks maxing.
Mm-hmm.
I have this new thing I'm doing where I want to prove to the socialists that people are just lazy. So if a homeless person ever asks me for something, I'll give it to them, but I'm going to make them do like 500 push-ups first, and then we'll see how down on the luck they are. Or if
how much are you giving them for 500 push-ups?
Well, it depends on what they ask me. If they ask me for like $5, I'll be like, all right, do 150 push-ups, or squats or something. But if they ask me for like, yo, can I get that burrito, bro? It's like $10, dude. All right, do 300 push-ups.
And you're gonna prove the socialists wrong with this.
I'll come back.
Hey, you might get a lot of health. You might get a lot of healthy homeless people. You might be surprised.
Yeah, but they're lazy. They're not gonna do it.
When you show them the moolah right there, you might be surprised. Jaden, man, appreciate your call. Call me again.
Appreciate
it. 888-775-3773. What 500 push-ups? What do you guys? You're destitute. How much you doing? How much is it going to cost for you to do 500 push-ups? Let me know. Okay, so where were we? Shall we move on? They don't love Natalie. It looks like I had another link here. Why do I have another link? Nope. We don't need it. Nope. We're done with that story. We're done. 888-775-3773. Let me do a little check of things that I must check before we move on. Great stuff. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Many ways to support and send your messages in if you don't want to call. What shall we do? Tariffs, you said? You know what? I will. Let's just run through this because, you know, they're talking about all these tariffs and they're fighting it out and they're calling it a trade war. And I found, and tell me, this is one of those moments where, this is one of these segments where I really just, how do I put this? I either really came up with this or I pulled this one out of, okay? The mind. Okay, get your mind out of the gutter. I pulled it out of my mind. And the mind is chaos, you know? It's like, so I'm either onto something here, like sincerely, without like looking at other stuff or hearing anybody else. It's like, I'm like saying this in an interesting way, or I pulled this out of nowhere, okay? It's like trade wars. I'm looking at everybody throw this term around. Trade war, it's a trade war. What's basically going down, you must know by now. Trump's got these tariffs, okay? And what is it? Charges on goods coming into America. Who's getting charged? The importers. The importers are who? American individuals and businesses. They're importing goods. They're at the ports. They're distributing and all that. And they, you know, they import it, they buy this stuff, they sell it to other people, either the end person, the citizen, or other businesses, and that's a whole industry, right? You're bringing in goods, you're bringing in trade from around the world. And the reason they do it is because the money makes sense. That's it. Bringing it in, manufacturing it, whatever it is, makes money sense. People are making money. So, tariffs. Trump's saying big ones. And he's had many different reasons. He's requiring more help with the borders, both north and south, and other things. And he's slapping Canada and Mexico with some tariffs until we get this all sorted, okay? Sorry, hold on. Making a note for myself. So who's going to get hit, right? It's like, maybe American citizens is the thinking here. Where some goods, their prices will go up. But okay, so they're duking it out. What's going on? Are they working it out? Is a deal happening? Not with Canada. Last I checked, Canada is going hard against all this. They're like, oh, you want to fight? You want to have a trade war? We're not doing a deal. We're going to keep it up. We don't need to sell to you. Canada sells a bunch of stuff to America. I believe eggs, dairy, the dairy farmers of Canada. I grew up hearing about them. Oil, I think, energy, other things. So they're saying, we don't care. You even got the conservatives. They're out there saying, you know what? Not only do we not want any of your, we don't want any of your U.S. trade dollars, okay? We don't even want any, American, what do you call them, contracts. It's like a governor. They're called premiers. The Ontario premier is a conservative. He's Doug Ford. You may remember him. You may remember his brother. Or is it brother? I forget, but the Fords, the Ford family, Rob Ford, mayor of Toronto back in the day, R.I.P. Doug Ford is the Ontario premier, and he's saying he's ripping up Starlink contract in response to U.S. tariffs. And so you understand, this is a conservatives, I'm trying to paint a picture for you here. You know, because we're having this fight, you guys want to hit us with this tariff. We don't want your American contracts. And there's a contract that was being written up or already written up, and it was going to place Elon Musk's Starlink over in Canada. And so they're like, oh, well, you know what? And some are taking it as like being petulant, and, you know, it really shows how the Canadian government is willing to just torpedo themselves, all because they just want to fight Trump. And people are asking me, they're reaching out even, they're like, Nick, who do you think is going to win the trade war? Shout out, Canadians that I know, they're reaching out to me. They're like, who's going to win the trade war, Nick? Who do you think is going to win the trade war? My buddy's like, I was thinking it's pretty much in the bag for America, but seeing how many, he was basically theorizing that if enough people in America don't like this, it might actually flip. So anyways, he was describing the huge population here. He said 400 million to the 40 million in Canada. If 40 million in America disagree, we might just have a chance. And they're talking about it in the group chat. It's like, who's going to win the trade war? And I'm thinking, this is like a wrong term for this. I see the media throwing it around. I see everybody throwing it around. I'm like, I don't know if this is the right term. Well, number one, my friend already brought up a very good fact that America dwarfs Canada and Mexico's economic output combined. So there's no real economic threat. So who has the leverage here? Who has the real leverage here? Who's going to get hurt more? Because in war, nobody wins, right? In war, nobody wins. And I'm thinking, well, America will take something, right? Maybe maple syrup prices go up. And then Americans start buying syrup from Vermont. I heard they already are. So then nobody wins in war, but Canada would lose more, to the tune of $80 billion. Right? Isn't that the trade deficit? What does that mean, basically? How much money Canada makes in trading with America. Who's making the cash and who's getting the goods. The trade deficit means where's the deficit of cash going? The cash is flowing to Canada to the tune of $80 billion, at least in the year of 2022. So so nobody wins in war, but Canada will definitely get hurt more. And I'm thinking, trade war, like, why would they want to do this? Does TDS explain it? I think it does in part, but only a little part. I think it does a little bit, but only in part. It explains a little bit why, there's the Canadian political class has decided to go hardcore against this, make no deal, and allow such a heavy tariff on their goods, which would 100% affect Canadians and Canadian businesses or whatever. It would also hurt, I realized, the Canadian firms and the deal makers who make these cool deals, these cool trade deals that I think really do enrich the Canadian, enrich the country. And it is a positive, but it really enriches the deal maker first. The firms and the politicians with the kickbacks. And so I'm thinking, well, it's not really a war. It's not really a trade war where you're really, you want to go into a history of trade wars. We're talking people dying. But, so it's not really a trade war in terms of economies. There's just no competition. And I'm thinking, you know what? I don't even think it's a war with the politicians. In fact, I realized I don't want this trade war, so-called trade war, to end. I'm thinking if I was a Canadian politician, if I'm a Canadian citizen, I don't want this trade war to end. I want the domestic production of both countries to go up. I think that in the long run, in the short term, maybe some goods become expensive and you got to work things out. But in the long term, the individual citizen, the actual citizen, is better off. Okay? And there's a way to trade correctly, I bet, but that's a separate conversation. I even heard someone bring up a good point that it's difficult to really make a totally self-sustaining nation and city and whatever. But that's a separate conversation. If I'm a Canadian citizen, I don't want this so-called trade war to end. And I'd want it to just keep going. Eventually, they won't call it a trade war. Eventually, they'll put down their guns and their posturing, and they'll suddenly be called a trade deal. Don't worry. But I would want this position to remain because domestic production would increase. And if I was the Canadian politician, I would see a unique scenario where I would be able to both posture, or maybe I really mean it. I don't know the hearts of every individual Canadian politician, but if I was a Canadian politician, I would see a unique scenario where I can be both supporting the common man and the worker, and I get to play tough on the world stage, and I get to assuage the pain of supporting the common man in the short term by making a big hullabaloo about trade wars and all that. If you don't, to explain what I mean, I'm just saying simply, increasing domestic production, making it Canada first, making things in Canada, selling to Canadians, doing it all well. You'd be supporting the common man, right? You're doing it, but it's going to be, you're going to be giving up those trade dollars, right? But as you have this big old fight about it, it kind of eases the pain of all that. And now you see the unique situation Canadian politicians are in. So I realize maybe even they wouldn't want this so-called trade war to end. It's not a trade war. It's not a trade war. It's like Trump being Trump being America first, and almost forcing Canadian politicians to be Canada first. It's like maybe you should be thankful that Canadian politicians were almost forced to this. And I say forced because it's like, how do I put this? It seems like Milton Friedman may have been correct. You don't make people do the right thing, but you align the interests of the wrong people with the right thing. And in this case, it's like the border, maybe, for example. You know, my friends were asking me, why does the government care so much about fentanyl? Fentanyl. It's like less than 1% die from it. It's like, why do they care so much? And I'm thinking a little bit, it's like, well, bro, you know, you're going to tell me the Americans don't know. I'm joking. I didn't get mad. I'm thinking politics. You know, most Americans aren't affected by fentanyl. They may hear about it and think, oh, that's terrible. But most Americans don't care or are affected by it. But it's politics, you know? How do you align the interests of people that care about public health and stuff like that and rounding them up and deporting them? Fentanyl, baby. So, and I don't think it's totally insincere or facetious from those who bring that up. It is an issue. But you understand what might be going on here. So that's kind of what I think. I hope this so-called trade, it's not a trade war. I think it's just more politically expedient to call it that. And I hope it never ends. I hope it doesn't end. I hope they do their little posturing. And eventually it's not going to be a trade war anymore. It'll just be a deal. And it's already happening. It's a trade banter. It's already happening. Mexico sending troops to the border, like playing tough. But she's like, Sheinbaum is like the lady running Mexico. She's like, okay, no. We'll send the border troops. Don't worry. We'll work with Trump. It's not a trade war. It's just a trade deal, but they're going kicking and screaming. And also because the kicking and screaming is a little bit politically expedient for some of these people. So that's politics for you. It can be a little dumb, but it is interesting. Real politics is that. Aligning interests because everybody's selfish. And it's like, then you realize that, you're like, okay, human nature is more interesting than politics. It's like, that's real politics. You got to align interests. You got to align these things because the human heart is wicked. Everybody's selfish, you know? You know, that probably even fits into like Gaza and Trump and stuff. I really don't really have much. I'm, how do I put this? Ignorant. So I got to learn to kind of maybe hold my tongue on certain things. I have my feelings about it. I call it Traza, baby. Let's go vacation there. That's what I say. But anyways, political alignment and how that all works. Making selfish people work with you. It's like, how is Trump able to? There's been almost like does it feel like the floodgates are open? Like something in the bureaucracy broke or flipped wide open, and I think it has to do with political alignments a little bit here. If you're getting if you get the vibe on like what might be going on, even if we don't quite understand. Liesel, hold on. Let's move on from this. I think we're done with this. Liesel, did you hear me yesterday? She must have not heard me yesterday. Because here she is being quite generous again. Coming in strong with a super chat. Says, Nick, great show. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed it, Liesel. I hope the people are enjoying it. Trying to put more energy in this show. Shane Baum, is that how it's pronounced? Man, Liesel, thank you so much. Did you hear me yesterday? The eagle landed, by the way. I received the eagle. Liesel, I thank you for that and the super chat. So this is to you, Liesel. Big shout out. Thank you for that. What's up, Rumble people? Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. We didn't forget about ya. Thanks for always supporting. You know you can leave rants if you don't like giving money to YouTube, if you don't like giving money. If you don't like that, I know people care. BuyMeACoffee.com/Anchor Baby. I don't know how much Rumble takes, but Rumble's cool, right? DLive.tv. What can I say? Thank you, everybody. Let's keep it moving here. I got more for you. Shall we? Has that super chat been tariffed? I don't know if that's a tariff. I think that's a tax. I don't know if that's a tariff. A 30% tariff, is that more of a tariff or is that a tax? And YouTube, no tax on tips, number one. Yeah. Doesn't that count with YouTube? Uh-oh. Did YouTube even consider this? That Trump is coming for you? No tax on tips, but hey, I think you'd call it a tax, right? Because you're paying, like what? You're paying like, the importer is, like if it's a tariff, it's like YouTube is importing your money and facilitating it to me. So then I guess you're paying, but who's paying the tariff? Like, not YouTube. So it's you're getting taxed. It's really your money's getting taxed. Your money's going in. YouTube is taxing it. YouTube is the government, unconstitutionally taxing it. And, we're calling it a tax. So, Trump, I hope you meant it. No tax on tips. Oh, now we got to prove if super chats are tips. This is getting too legal for me. This is getting too spicy. I got my taxes handled a certain way. Don't mess with them. So stop talking about the legal standing of my taxes and my revenue. It's getting too spicy. My lawyer, and I don't have one, but the lawyer in my mind is sweating. Let's keep moving here. Let's see what's next. Let's get to what shall we do next? Should we do let's do death penalty. Let's do death penalty. What y'all think about the death penalty? We cool with it? What is the death penalty today? I actually don't know this. How does it stand today? Probably is different in different states. But I didn't look this up. But the death penalty is being talked about. And they're throwing it around. I think it's been talked about, but it seems like I'm aware of it now. And it has to do with another possible lookalike. And no, I'm not trying to sanitize all this connection between the Anchor Baby and the Supreme Gentleman. I didn't say this. Others are saying this. Okay, not me. But maybe Luigi Mangione is actually truly on the extreme of the attractiveness scale. It's me if I was on that extreme. So this is someone else said it, okay? And so see, I don't look like the Supreme Gentleman. I kind of right. Okay, anyways, Luigi Mangione, you know him. He killed that CEO guy, and he's like, whatever. I don't know the exact motivation. People think he got screwed by insurance and the whole industry and the world. And he took it out on somebody, allegedly. They're saying he's got 11 charges he pleaded not guilty to. Mangione, who is currently locked up at Brooklyn's infamous Metropolitan Center, pleaded not guilty to the 11 charges in his indictment, including first-degree murder and murder as an act of terrorism. Some are saying, man, they're going too hard on Luigi. Terrorism? Like, in fact, they're going harder than that. Death penalty. Death penalty. Ominous new sign. Luigi Mangione will face the death penalty for shooting of United Health CEO Brian Thompson. And it's a federal case. It's a federal case. I was trying to find out if this was done in a state thing, but I guess it's not. It's federal. So that doesn't necessarily mean like New York or anything, right? Because I was thinking death penalty in New York? Is the death penalty even like a state-by-state thing? Or is capital punishment only handled by the federal government? Is or the government, I mean, I want to give you some extra info here. Why not, right? Since we're talking about. It's primarily handled at the state level, maybe? We're going to need a source on that. But the point is, it seems like both the state and the federal level deal with capital punishment. And that makes sense. The point, so whatever. This is a federal case according to the Daily Mail. One of his federal charges, murder through use of a firearm, is eligible for the death penalty. You understand? And during a brief order, federal judge Catherine Parker will look into this case, etc. But a death penalty expert has been appointed. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, an expert in capital cases, which, I mean, it's not when you're waiting trial and they bring in the death penalty expert, I mean, that means they're considering it, no? Mangione, 26, is accused of fatally shooting Thompson, 50, December 4th, outside of the Hilton Hotel, Midtown Manhattan. Yeah. Serious charges. Locked up. You know a little bit about it. And I guess that's the only indication we have that the death penalty is on the table. This expert. Talk of the death penalty for Mangione has been thrown around by multiple politicians as news of Thompson's death quickly pointed to Americans' unhappiness with the U.S. healthcare and led to conservatives calling the murder an injustice against the system. Injustice. So I guess conservatives said that. So fine. Former, people going on the news circuits, former healthcare industry executives saying that he should get the death penalty. Well, that's the story. So this expert is coming in. They may be considering it. And, I was thinking about this a little bit because I think I was saying that I don't remember what exactly I said about Mangione, but I think I was expressing like the death penalty being fine. And like the death penalty used to be for a lot less, I think. And by less, I mean like not even like acts of terrorism, but murder. That's my impression of the death penalty. So, yeah. They used to do it for a lot less, and I'm thinking there's got to be like I have no problem with the death penalty. Like there has to be a real consequence when people have decided that they don't care about the consequences. And that's one of the only things that orders chaotic people. There's not much. There really isn't much between absolute chaos. Like there isn't much. Like, for example, trash. They call it the thin blue line. The cops are the thin blue line between us and pandemonium. And it's like, it's not even like heroes. They're just like there's just a dirty job and someone's got to do it. Well, guess what? Being a trash man too. It's a thin, I've said it before, the thin brown line. We're all civilized now. We're all civilized and we care about the law now. And oh, you can't do the death penalty. But wait till trash starts piling up. The garbage trucks stop coming and the trash starts piling. Society would end. Pandemonium, Joker in the streets, killing each other for survival. It's like, I'm telling you, there's not much between these things, and you gotta have like a serious way of removing someone from society until we can make like dimensional prisons. You know what I mean? And keep someone in a dimensional prison for millennia. The greatest criminals of the galaxy. You gotta remove them. You gotta remove them. This is like, he's going out there, terrorism and what are the people saying? What is the public saying? They're like, yeah, terrorism is the only way. Antisocial people. Call me a shill for the system, the establishment. It's like, I have my questions, but am I willing? Am I there? Do I want to undo? Like, you understand what that means? We gotta redo the system. That's a talk where if horseshoe is at all a theme, horseshoe, where you go so radical one way, you end up going back the other way, like so far left, you go right. I'm seeing it in the right wing, and I really don't think it's going too far right. It's not what it is. It's anger. It's not a mystery. When we use these terms, I joke around, horseshoe theory, blah, blah, blah. I like to play around and paint pictures in your head. But let's get down to it. It's not that makes things too mysterious. It's anger. It's evil, the wicked heart. And what is happening to conservatives? They're getting angry. They're overreacting. It's like they're seeing the Democrats or the liberals. We've been lied to for too long. It's like they can't. It's an injustice. Now they're mad too, and they end up looking just like the left. Huh? It's not a horseshoe theory of politics. It's anger, the wicked heart. Are you evil or not? And so where was I about this? You see this? They're out there. They're saying, yeah, we gotta take it down. The system is a mess, and it's like, it is a mess, but we're also alive. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know if I'm there. It seems a little egotistical, and because when I hear stuff like that, what I really hear is someone saying, "I'm willing to kill millions of people." That's what I hear when I hear that. When I hear, "Yeah, but Mangione is right, or the system is wrong, and we got to have violence, and we have to, we can't always vote our way out." It's like, that's a true statement, but what are you saying? Are you saying something we got to do now? Like, calm down. When I hear people say that, what I'm really hearing is someone say, I'm willing to kill millions or thousands or whatever. And it's like, usually the person I hear saying that, it's like, I know they don't really know what they're saying. So you're a fool. It's like, maybe there is a time for sacrifice. Maybe there is a time for thousands must die. But it's like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, these people don't know what they're talking about. And so that's what I hear. I hear you are willing. So you have thought up something. You've come up with an idea, and you have made this conclusion that thousands, millions must die. Yeah, I don't know. Anger is evil. Watch that stuff. Watch how it warps your mind. And talk about warping minds and all that. All this talk about death penalty. You want to see, is this maybe the opposite end? What do you call this? Georgia man slammed with nearly 500 years for dogfighting. Vincent Lamarck Burrell, a 57-year-old from Dallas, Georgia, has been sentenced to an unprecedented 475 years in prison. 475 years in prison for his involvement in dogfighting and animal cruelty, marking the longest sentence of its kind in the U.S. Is this longest sentence for dogfighting, cruelty, or has there never been a sentence this long, right? I mean, there's life sentences, right? Just give him life, like 475 years. I don't know. I don't get it. The case surfaced in November 2022. An Amazon delivery worker discovered dogs chained on this individual's property. Officers found 107 dogs found in poor conditions, many underweight, having had teeth removed, fight scars. One of the youngest victims was an 8-week named Baby Shark. Wait, what? Baby Shark. 8 weeks old. Hold up. 8 weeks old? What's 8 weeks old in dog years? What's that? What's the equation? What's the formula to figure this one out? I forget. But this dog is basically 2 months. This dog is basically 2 years old. Okay, so it's roughly a toddler. Never mind. Maybe it's not a good thing to point out. An 8-week-old named Baby Shark. Despite Burrell's denials, he was found guilty on 93 counts of dog fighting and 10 counts of animal cruelty. Judge Dean 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 handed down the maximum sentence, emphasizing the gravity of the crime. Is this the judge? Is this the female judge? Or is that some lawyer? Is this the judge? Wait, hold on. Judge Dean 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏? Tell me it's a female judge. Judge Dean 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏, Paulding County, Georgia. Georgia's in Paulding? Paulding County is in Georgia? Where is that? Paulding County is in Georgia. Can we gather this is his profile? I can't confirm. No picture. I can't even be sure. Dean 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏. Yeah. Judge for Paulding Circuit City. No picture. Darn. Is male or female? Come on. Tell me, website. You're not going to tell me? You're not going to tell me? He was appointed, says Ballotpedia. If this is the same judge, I would bet it is. But, yeah. They're protecting the doggies. I really wish it was the female judge here. But it's a female-minded judge. Dean 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏. What is this? Is this another extreme? Would this have happened if this person, and I can't be sure, but is this judge in their, right mind and their most unbiased blind lady justice vibe here, or is this emotional a little? The gravity of the crime. Like, hold on here. It's animal cruelty. Like, okay, look, I'm not saying, look, I don't want animals. Look, you get somebody who gets a thrill from messing with animals, red flag, man. Red flag. But isn't justice supposed to be proportionate? It's like they're alive. 475 years. Is this proportional justice? It's animal cruelty. Okay, it's dog fighting, animal cruelty. 93 counts of dog fighting. Is it because of so many dogs? Like, come on. Or is this judge should recuse? I don't know. Why you guys are calling him Michael Vick? Yeah, are you guys saying? What are you guys saying here? Oh, I know what you guys are talking about. I think I know what you guys are talking about. Dog fighting. Shout out Michael Vick. But anyways, he should get 1,000 years. I'm just wondering, is this proportional justice? Is this emotional justice? Put that on a shirt and print it. Proportional justice or emotional? No, it's too wordy. Emotional, proportional or emotional? I don't know. But that looks crazy. Speaking of death penalties and all that, it's like, why don't you just give him the death penalty? 475 years. So let's keep it moving here. You know what? I think I got a bit of a segue for you. How am I going to segue into this? Well, I think this story of the dogs actually presented me with one. Because this man here, you're seeing this guy here. Seems like this is the individual charged. Vincent Lamarck Burrell. He looks black. I don't know. And these are some of the dogs. You heard one of the names of the dogs. Baby Shark. This is going back a little bit. This is going back to some earlier episodes. Do you remember? It's a practice in some of the black neighborhoods of America. And it's not just the black neighborhoods, but I found it predominantly there. We did an episode where we dove into this world of dog breeding. And they called it, what did they call it? There was a particular art form in the black community where they were engineering breeds of dogs that look like this. They're like pit bulls, but not sorta. And they had all sorts of crazy names like Baby Shark. And do you guys remember anybody? What? And they had a whole culture behind this, where they would create these blinged out Facebook posters for their unique breed. But all it was is them experimenting with these bulldogs and breeding monsters. They were breeding these Frankenstein, these monsters, these. And it was a whole culture, and it's probably still going. They do these garish, funny looking, like blinged out Photoshop posters, and we dove into this culture a little bit. And I wish you guys could remind me. But are we looking at a case of that? Are we seeing that? Is that what's going on here? I think that's what's going on here. Let me try once more and find this. Dog breeding. Let me see one more time, and then we'll move on. Dog breeding, Baby Shark, hood. Oh, man. Bulldog. So anyways, I think this might have been a case of that. Oh, I found it. Oh, yeah. Check it out. Here's one example. And they would what they would do with the posters is they would have the X denoting like that this is a crossbreed between another famous Frankenstein they made. And in this case, it's Cinder Block Bullies is the individual or group. And this is the Titan X Lucy's. And they're always like these freakish, like even because bulldogs are already genetic monstrosities. And they just like, oh, yes, thank you so much. We found it. We are in the algorithm. We are in the correct algorithm. The hood, look at this one. Homicide and Lil Ting. Homicide and Lil Ting. What are they? They are a cross between Grouch, Chumper, and Venom. Like, Venom Line Bullies. Let's go to this website for a second. www.venomline bullies. And it's just like are you gathering now, please? The culture, this little subculture we found. I think this is a case of that. So now that we're talking about black people, now I can segue. Look at this. Here's another one. Clone meets neighbor. It's like, man, how long do they live? I don't think they live very long. A nip pit bull. A nip pit bull. The dog has two heads. It's like, guys, what are you doing in the hood? You're taking the bulldog genetics where no man is taking them. They're not supposed to go this far. Stop messing with the God's good earth. What have you done? And you know what? I am making jokes, but I think they're enterprising individuals. I think it's cool. So pit bulls and the hood. Some say that this is a government psyop in the hood. Speaking of the hood, speaking of anything hood adjacent, ain't no way they got ends buying sections in Popeyes now. You know what a section is? Let me put you on. You ever been to a club? You ever been to a club and you get bottle service? Anybody ever been to a club and get bottle service? You get a section. You get a little section, and the bottle service ladies bring you the bottle, very expensive bottle that's supposed to be like $30, it's $130. And that's not to mention, whatever. We got sections in Popeyes. Some are saying this is a CIA psyop, that this is being inflicted upon the black community by the CIA. I'm not joking. Look, they're saying, tell the CIA we forfeit, man. Damn. I think that's a joke, which is hilarious. It's like, damn, CIA, enough. You win. All right? Like, now you're doing sections at Popeyes. It's over. Okay, the sound was supposed to play. You mean we got sections in Popeyes now? It's over. Don Julio? What Oh no, well, we're not recovering. It's not ever going to get better. Is what some are saying. It's like they're saying we forfeit, CIA. Damn. It's like, damn, CIA, you win. It's like, stop it with the psyops. It's like first crack and now sections at Popeyes. And, I only brought this video up because I saw the guy talking about CIA. And the CIA crack thing got brought up on one of the shows recently. And I went down a little bit of is it a rabbit hole? Whatever. I wanted to see some of these claims because I had heard it over the years. And yes, this is another one of those moments that it's like, yeah, Nick, old story, been done. But I'm like, what? How come no one told me? Because you hear it about it. You heard about it. You even see at this point, and I bet you it's because after so many years, like, how do you put it? You can lie about stuff so easily, and people love lies. Angry people love lies. And guess what? You got angry people on the right wing. And I think I see it from the right wing, honestly. They'll be like, yeah, the government, man, COVID, they lied to us. Man, they lie like they did in the CIA, putting crack in the black community. It's like, it's like a classic thing, man. It's like, and you can see this conversation happening, right? The right wing, especially now, the media lies. The media is full of lies. We've been lied to about everything. We've been lied to about so much that, I don't know. Maybe it's flat. I don't know. Look, shout out to the flat earthers. But look, the point is, you see this conversation going around. And I'm like, where does this come from, though? I had to, like, kind of look into it a little bit. Like, where do they really say this from? Like, is there some standing here where the CIA, because I know they do funny stuff. They do interesting things. COINTELPRO. I'm pro COINTELPRO, by the way. But they do interesting things. They have been caught doing all sorts of interesting things, okay? The CIA. So I'm like trying to find out, I'm like, is there some standing here? Did the CIA like really, like, what they really do? Maybe there's some standing here. Hold on, where did I put all this? Where did I put all my stuffs? Increasing, nope, not that. Give me one moment. Then we'll get to calls, 888-775-3773. Appreciate the patience. CIA crack controversy. I've heard it. You've heard it. And so what? Where can we get to the part where do these people, let's say you're like, no way, who made the black people smoke this crack? Like, and it's like, you get that simple truth. It's like, great. But let's get into this. What's the detail that's getting the blacks and others to say such a thing? The CIA brought crack into it. Well, there's the core. Here's the core of the controversy. The core of the CIA bringing crack into the black community controversy is the allegations with the Nicaraguan Contra rebels. Now, I'm going to just say allegations. But the point is, the controversy is surrounding how the CIA was alleged to facilitate the drug trade down south, okay, with Nicaraguan rebels. See, there was a social. There's been all sorts of fights around the world ever since the big old wars, and they said, that socialism and communism was trying to take over in lots of parts of the world. It turned into wars in some places, Korea. Down south, there was a problem too. Okay, and there were socialists happening. Do you know about the Sandinistas? The Sandinistas. Socialists came into power, and there were rebels. There were rebels against the socialist regime. And does the CIA love them some rebels and love them some insurgency in enemies of the state. And you know what? Right on. If that's one thing I want my intelligence agency to do is to maybe bad things happen. I don't know. But if there's one thing I want my intelligence agency to do is maybe at least leave the door open for insurgency in the lands of our enemies. I'll leave it at that. But the point is, they were alleged to be supporting these rebels. And how did these rebels make money? Well, they sold drugs. So if we're going to support the rebels without making a big stink like giving them money, how about we make it easy for them to sell their drugs? That's the allegations, okay? And that's it. I'm looking into this. I'm waiting for the key detail that's like, and then they started importing the drugs into the black community. It's like, no, the core of the thing is that they facilitated this stuff because of foreign global politics. And yeah, the drugs came into America, allegedly, facilitated by the CIA. And then the blacks smoked the crack. It's like, wait a second. Isn't this proof that something like this is a story of both, government corruption, but it's a mirror to the problems within, in this case, black people? And then all the people talking about it afterwards, isn't that a show of their dark hearts that would rather believe lies, that in their own anger team up with liars? Oh, the government, they're all liars to us, F them. And then somewhere you got mad and you believe lies, and so you team up with other people who, I don't know, give you a false salvation. Like it was the CIA that did the crack. Do you realize what you're agreeing with? You're agreeing with evil. So anyways, I caught up a little bit to the CIA crack stuff, just a little bit. So if you knew this, you can come back. You could tune back into the show. So yeah. It's like, that's all. They only facilitated drugs to all of America. You understand? That's the core of the conspiracy that CIA brought crack to the black community. They facilitated drugs to all of America. Whoa, we're missing something here. But let me get to a caller here. Appreciate it. All calls, 888-775-3773. We got William out of California. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing?
All is well? Go ahead.
Yeah. What is that behind you, first of all? I just wanted to see. Is that a chicken spot? What's going on?
A what? A chicken spot?
Yeah, what was that? A chicken spot or churches or what? What was that?
Popeyes. We got Popeyes.
You mean to tell me they're booking booths at the chicken house?
I had all of the same questions, Will, and I'm glad you're asking me. I have my theories. I can't even know, but clearly you're a discerning individual like me. I had the same questions. I'm like, wait, you could get a set. So it turns out Popeyes did something with Don Julio, and I can't come. It doesn't look like they were buying sections and actually serving liquor in Popeyes, but it seems like either some Popeyes, because it is a franchise, took their own little liberty with the Don Julio collaboration, or it was just customers who took this liberty, and the establishment looked the other way.
What in the Bonquisha Robinson? What is that, man? That's crazy, man. That got to be a photo op. No, this is real. Golly, man.
Hey, if you're gonna ball out, you ball out everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, just like the dog thing, you know, you do know breeding dogs. See, I don't know where the hood gets that one from. You know it's illegal to breed dogs, right?
Oh, it is? I don't know much about this. Like
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
you're
know
not
this.
supposed to do that. You're not supposed to. I mean, they do it. They do it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They do it all the time. But you're really not supposed to be breeding dogs. But yeah, crossing the breed, like you see what they did to those pit bull, whatever.
You see how they're deformed.
Man, they you know, the hood has always had a little tough guy thing with the pit bull. You know,
They do look
chains.
these breeds they're making do look tough. I gotta say.
Yeah. Chain them to a tree all day, no water, acting up, and you know, and then when they get loose, they bite. But the chicken thing is beyond me. Oh well.
And oh well, right? Because that's a good way. I think that's a fine way of putting it. Because what are we to do? We're supposed to watch our own world.
Happy Black History Month and Black National Anthem, because that's I don't know, man. Whatever. Let's you was talking about the Contra cocaine.
See, the allegations the CIA facilitated the Nicaraguan Contra rebels.
Yeah, they did. Look, it was the rebels were using those funds to purchase weapons to fight against their enemy, and like you said, the CIA loves them some rebels to fight against enemies of the state.
It seems that way.
That is true. They've done it before. I mean, look at the Taliban. They funded them against the Soviets.
It's a great point.
And then we end up going back to fight them against terrorism.
Why do you think that is?
Well, things switch up. I mean, look at Vietnam. Vietnam, when we left Vietnam, they went right back into war again with China. And China was supplying them to fight us. I mean, when we left, they fought China to run them out. And that's just the way it goes, man. A lot of people, we were talking about this today. A lot of people, I mean, I didn't know much about it at the time. I was a lot younger. I heard all these terms, the Contra affairs and all. It's just, you know, it was a little bit beyond me when I was a lot younger. But then when you get older, you look into the details and everything. No, it is not as simple as Reagan putting crack cocaine at your door. It's just not that simple.
Thank you.
You have a thing called the distributor, where you have a supplier. Okay, you got the supplier down there supplying to get weapons. Then once it's here, it goes to the distributor. And from the distributor to the front door of the worst neighborhoods in the country. And who falls for drugs and alcohol the most? And the easiest.
Fair enough.
That's not a dig on any ethnic group. That is just a fact. So when all of this stuff is going on, the little kids in the neighborhood have those parents that got them in those neighborhoods that they can never look at why they're in those neighborhoods with their little children. Their little children were little children in the early 80s. And the excuse would be to look out the window and say, Reagan put this in our front door.
Terrible, man. How's anything going to get better?
It's just not as simple as to say, because, you know, they indoctrinated young children younger than you. Well, they're probably a little older than you now. They were little children from 1 to 5, and their parents told them that.
Wow. Yep.
And now they're 43 years old, and they still think that. They still believe that.
An oral tradition, an oral history.
Yeah. See, they don't say that when Buki Ray got a suitcase full of cash upstairs in the room. The ones that don't have all that money See, those guys that are distributing in the neighborhood got all that money, and then you got the next level, which is the consumer. Down at their level, they're looking out the window trying to look for blame for how all this violence and mayhem came to their neighborhoods without understanding what really happened. You know, I mean, the worst things are going to happen to the lowest people. We know that. And they're going to also be more vulnerable to and subject to these behaviors. But all those children from 80, 79, 78, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, all those kids were little bitty children, and a lot of their parents indulged in these behaviors. And then when it didn't work out for them and they started losing things, they tell their children that, hey, the U.S. government put this at our doorstep and, you know, and messed us up.
Terrible, man. I think you laid it out well for me there. Thank you.
You know what? Without taking, now let's just make it me and you. If we were addicts, we're going to point the finger everywhere but ourselves for this problem.
Human nature.
Mm-hmm.
This is a story of human nature. It really is.
Yes. Just like the Black National Anthem. It's a lot of stinker about that one. Well, who do the blacks think they are? And me being black, I know this. I mean, it's not. Don't feel bad because I'm telling the truth. Who do you think the marketing companies in the NFL, in the Super Bowl, and all these big buck situations, who are they going to listen to? The blacks or the advertisers and the people who are providing the money?
Yeah. Advertisers.
If the Black National Anthem, which has never been significant anyway, if it's taken away, there's nothing you can do about it.
You know the camera's going to zoom in on Trump.
So?
No, totally.
Because he knows he ain't got nothing to do with that. They were starting to get rid of that stuff already.
That sounds like a manly way of looking at it.
Well, listen. Okay.
What's that got to do with me?
Do you remember when Colin Kaepernick started taking a knee like 8 years ago?
Yes.
And protesting police brutality and Michael Brown and Trayvon Martin and all that. Well, he did that because he was getting ready to get cut from the 49er football team. He was not going to play. They had caught up to him in 2 years, and he was getting ready to get released. So what does he do? He take a knee.
Oh, wow.
He grows his hair out, and he takes a knee. And he promises that he's going to be back. And he will never be back with the NFL because when you look at an NFL game, and if it's a playoff game or a Super Bowl, you see this huge flag that spreads all across the football field for the national anthem, not the Black National Anthem, the national anthem. And who is involved with that national anthem and that flag is usually the color guard. Who's the color guard? All four branches of the military. Let's think about this. Are they going to listen to us for our Black National Anthem, which will distribute zero money, just feelings? The NBA did it too. Remember they were putting the Black Lives Matter on
the thing is
uniforms?
the people run. The thing is the feelings people they really are running it though. So
yeah, but
that's why you're seeing the Black National Anthem now. But you're thinking that might change, huh? With advertisers,
it's not lasting. It has no life left.
Yeah, I'm thinking too.
And if you notice, the NBA got away from it too. They stopped doing it because they looked and seen their ratings go down. And no matter what I feel as a black person, if their ratings go down, it does not matter what color my skin is and how I feel. If their ratings go down, they're going to make a change.
Well said. And I think, honestly, I agree with some of what you're saying. I feel like I've seen some of the markers out there. There's a changing tide. You know, a million people stop following Selena Gomez after her little, my people, the Mexicans. So I don't know if people are quite thinking are into the same old gripes from yesterday. We'll see what happens.
You seen the ratings go down when Colin Kaepernick did that. The NFL had like a 2-3 year dip in the ratings. When they got rid of that, they picked back up a little bit. They've gotten a little better with that because they kind of let that go. That's not going to bring them any capital on how I feel about any social justice, even though I'm not in support of anything like that, because the best way that you could not get shot by the police is just not have contact with the police.
Fair enough. Good and a good point. Willie, man,
that's the best way to not get shot by the police is just don't. What are you doing with contact with the police?
Level-headed, William. Thank you for that.
Okay, Nick. Take care.
Call me again, William. Take care.
Okay.
888-775-3773. About to get right back to my callers. Don't go anywhere. Black Hawk helicopter. You see, they keep replaying this. They keep talking about it, and the experts, and you heard Jesse talk about that. It's like, oh, they keep talking about it on the news, and it's like all these experts with their theories. It's like, you don't know what's going on. You play the same footage over, and people are just watching. Is this actual news, though? Black Hawk helicopter's shocking aviation blunder moments before crashing into plane in D.C. is confirmed in the new NTS. What the? Website status risky. Daily Mail, fix your website. John McAfee himself from wherever he is saying your website is risky. Look at this. McAfee. John, help us. Is confirmed in the new NTSB report. Is this news? Black Hawk Army helicopter, which crashed into the American Airlines passenger plane as it was landing in Washington, D.C., was flying 100 feet too high. Official authorities have confirmed. I feel like this is the first I've seen of a confirmation of something like this. I could be wrong. I might be peddling in the same he said, she said of this news. But they're confirming investigators' fears. They're saying now information from air traffic controller data, radar, has confirmed investigators' fears that the military chopper was 100 feet above where it was meant to be. And this is really serious in this airspace. If you know anything about this airspace, an airspace I'm familiar with, it's very congested, a lot going on. So, black box data recovered, etc. But they're saying the helicopter that had Captain Rebecca M. Loback, 28 years old, Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Lloyd Eves, and another, was flying too high. They did it wrong, and it might be confirmed. In fact, confirmed according to Daily Mail. They shouldn't have been there. And this would add to the detail that the American Airlines jet, as it was landing, it was confirmed for the landing. It was coming in for the landing. At the last moment, it pitched upwards. It did a dramatic pitch upwards. This would add to the theory that the jet tried to avoid the helicopter at the last moment. The helicopter that was now confirmed to be flying 100 feet too high. Nick, the other mic is on. Oops. So anyways, that's a little bit of that. Let me get to Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. Thank you for your call, Maze. You're on the air.
Hello, Nick. How you doing today?
All is well, Maze, and yourself?
Well, I'm just fine. I sit and I listen to a story that was told by somebody that wants to be black. I don't believe he's black, so I'm going to leave it there. But if you listen to him, I'm talking in third person. So I'm going to talk as a person that knows something about the Iran-Contra and Ali North and all that group.
Oh, really cool.
And it's not even, what you say?
I said cool.
Down.
I'm welcome this information, Maze. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, it's written down, and they had a trial, and they had a hearing. So the way it was put in the community, now, it wasn't, the community didn't go out and ask for it. Everybody in the community that you call lowlife, how do you think that those people got started?
I call them lowlifes?
Huh?
I don't know if I don't think I called anybody a lowlife.
Not you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about
okay.
I don't know what they're talking about. They're so him babbling.
My bad, Maze. I thought when you were talking about someone who wanted to be black, I thought you were talking about me.
Can I explain about Ali North and what happened?
I'm following.
That situation. Okay, you got the dealer, you got the pusher, and then you got the person at the top to get the money that nobody never see.
Gotcha.
They never talk about. And then you talk about the community. How did opioid get distributed in the neighborhood? How did the people get on it?
I'm not entirely sure.
The soldiers come home with it and put it in there and convince the people that they can make some money when they were not making money? Or how did that happen?
I heard about the soldier thing. You're saying soldiers brought home medication, opiate, like strong painkillers from war, and they got hooked on it?
Some of them was on drugs. Some of them were.
Gotcha. I've actually heard something about this, but I'm following. Go on.
But people in the neighborhood, they pretend they did, but they don't know. And then they just want to run it and don't know what they're talking about. So I live with that part. So now let's get back with the Black National Anthem.
Can we hold off for one moment? I'd love to get to that Black National Anthem. Can we hold off 1 second? Let's get to National Anthem in a second. But so you're describing, I think I'm gathering, you're saying the black community never asked for the crack in the same way other communities didn't necessarily ask. So you are saying that even in the opioid example that someone else was at fault? Who was responsible in the opioid situation?
Who was responsible?
For becoming addicted to opioids and that?
They did not put opioids out in the community to make money. For people that didn't have jobs to make money. Opioids
instead, they gave it to soldiers.
And stuff. Distributed by doctors in doctors' offices.
Or they just got it overseas illegally or whatever.
Taking it. Didn't they?
Right, I heard this. So you're saying, but again, the question remains, who's at fault for those people getting addicted to opioids?
Well, the government didn't put those opioids in the neighborhood. They put crack in the neighborhood.
But with the opioid example...
No, that's not an example. That's something being put in a neighborhood, and some people started with doing it in the neighborhood, like being prescribed. And then they didn't go to jail for it, but the black people went to jail for crack. Nobody went to jail for opioid. They came up with a EpiPen to bring them back alive.
Yeah,
what's wrong with that picture?
Well, I don't. To answer your question about what's it called, naloxone? Not naloxone, but the spray that brings back someone who's like ODing on opiates.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I actually know a little bit about biology. I don't know if crack and cocaine has a strange way of working through the system. Meanwhile, opiates have a very simple way. They just bind to this receptor in the liver and other parts of the body. Mm-hmm. And if you could block that receptor, you suddenly not ODing anymore. So I would guess that it's biologically simpler to come up with like an antidote for opiates as opposed to crack.
The difference between it is one was brought into a neighborhood and the other one wasn't.
Right. I wanted to get to that because I'm following what you're saying. You're saying opiates too were brought into the community, but in this case it was legal and done through doctors and prescription. Mm-hmm. But see, that doesn't quite answer.
Go to jail for it. So why didn't they? They should have went to jail for the opioid epidemic just like they did for the crack epidemic.
But that doesn't quite...
They sent a lot of family members that was hooked on coke and all of that stuff coming from those different places in Iran, Contras, and all of those. Some people was in the military that came home like that.
But that's still not quite a full picture, don't you think?
They didn't get no help.
But think about it. Wait, they didn't get... Wait, who didn't get help?
Those people that came back that was messed up with those drugs. But and then like the rappers, you can look at the same thing. The rappers, who's giving the rappers money? The rappers not coming out of
the record labels, maybe? Maybe the record labels, maybe nowadays they do it solo because you could do it online.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying who made like Lil Wayne and all of those people and Puppycon and all those people. Who made them rich? They made them to start a community, but they made them rich. So
are you saying other black people made them rich?
Excuse me?
You're saying other black people made them rich?
No black people made them rich. And you know no black people make them rich.
I'm not following what you're saying. Who made them rich then?
I'm saying if you look at how they got to be where they are, when done by the community, they were taken out of the community. It's just like, if you look at, what's the other one named, the white rapper?
Eminem?
Eminem. Mm-hmm. You look at him. He came up through with the black rappers, but they were not the ones that made them rich. So you look at who makes them rich, and then come with the weapons. All those guns and stuff that were dumped in the community were done by all of them.
Are you saying that there's some sort of collusion between the music industry and maybe even other forces like government or otherwise that are basically planting or that are planting these so-called rappers and stuff? They take them out of the community to do what you're saying? Is that what you're alluding to?
Yeah, they give them money to make.
I just want to make it clear that's what you're saying.
You got the dealer, the pusher, and the one at the top. But you don't never know the name of the one at the top. They never go to jail. Nothing ever happens to them. But it's always the pusher.
Wait, slow down. Wait, slow down. You're beating me up here, Maze. I'm on the ropes.
I'm not beating you. I'm
on the ropes, Maze. Can you give me a sec? But okay, wait. On this whole, what's the point with your theory that the collusion between the music industry and forces otherwise are
Anyway,
planting these
just like
rappers
Freeway
and all that.
Ricky.
What's your point with that one?
Just like Freeway.
You're saying just like
Freeway
Freeway Ricky. Go ahead.
I'm showing you. Freeway Rick
Yeah.
was a part of what?
He was a part of he was a drug dealer, right? A gang, but he was they allegedly he was helped.
What was he doing with Noriega and doing all this stuff? He didn't have the money
selling
to do that.
drugs.
That's right. So
Yeah, but like allegedly, the CIA. Who did the CIA help? One of them is they say allegedly Freeway Ricky Ross.
So why didn't they arrest the people that he was involved with? Not only him, but the people that he was working for.
I don't know. Why do you
Who
think?
the people were he was working for? We will never know. So when you talk about the community,
But
think
this
about
sounds like a really long-winded way of shifting any attention away from the black individual.
No.
And by the way, Freeway Ricky Ross is black. Last I checked,
Yes,
this
he
seems
is.
like a long-winded way of shifting any attention away from any black individuals in
Get it
this
back.
relationship maze, which
No,
it
I'm
very
getting-
much is a relationship, a
No,
give and a
Get into the
take.
point of
What do you
why
think about
they-
that?
I'm getting to the point of why they get to desperate people that need money and would do anything for it. You can talk about some of these people that call your show.
Uh-huh.
They'll take a dime. They'll do anything for a dime. The whole community won't do anything for a dime. Like I said yesterday, some will. So
That
that's what
sounds
they
like a
did.
lot of words to take away all attention to any black individuals involved in this.
No, it's not taking away any attention. It take attention from stupidity.
It's like
That's what
Ricky
I-
Ross this. When are they gonna prosecute them? We'll never know this. And the
already been in
opiates
prison.
that, but
Already
not
been
a
in prison.
single mention of the opiate addicted person who took the drugs. No mention of the black crack addicted people who took the drugs, and no mention of Freeway Ricky Ross, a black individual who is apparently no in your mind at all. What about him? Didn't he bring crack into the black community?
He went to jail for his crime too, didn't
But
he?
wait, that's a different. So what if he went to jail? The question
Well, he
remains.
should have been.
Didn't
And he
Ricky
shouldn't
Ross?
have been
The
in the
question
community.
remains, Maze. Didn't Ricky Ross bring crack into the black community?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
And
it's
so
been
did
a
the
fascinating
doctors who wrote out the
conversation,
opioid
Maze.
prescription. They brought it into the white community, but nothing happened. Nobody went to jail. That's what I'm trying to say. You got a law
But
for
you-
one group
yeah,
of
you
people,
said a
got
whole
law
bunch
for
of
another, and then everything
blaming.
that happens is blamed on black people. At the
You
biggest
said a
thing.
whole bunch of
Like,
blame, and that's all you said.
So you want to go to those people that blow? What do you call those people that make their own
You
stuff?
sound like the CIA crank conspiracy theorists who say.
No, I'm not.
You sound
not.
exactly like them. You've basically every fact you've given me, Ricky Ross and the Contras and all of that.
That's
There's
what I'm
still
saying.
there's
You don't
still
understand.
no smoking gun. There is no smoking gun. All you've told me is the government facilitated drugs, but you have not told me how the blacks smoked it all up. You've
They did not smoke it up,
you
but
have
only
not
blacks
you
smoked
have
it
not
up.
given you not given me a
No,
single
Rick, you
point
think
for
only
that.
black- I mean, do you-
And I'm glad you called because
Dick,
it proves that my
Dick, I'm
point.
asking you a question. Do you think only black people smoke crack?
I don't know. I don't think
You
so.
don't know.
I bet you all races smoke crack.
Thank you. So, but why did they have to mess that community up? But most
Because
of
they
them were-
loved it. I don't know what to tell you, Maze. They got their hands on it
That's why
and
weed
they
is
fell in
legal
love
now.
with it.
That's why weed is legal. A lot of people went to jail for selling that too, and it's legal. So how did that get all over the country? But you said Mexico is
'Cause-
bringing in the drugs and the guns.
Exactly.
It's always somebody's
So why
blame.
don't we end this silly fight, Maze? Let's hold hands
It's
and
not
go
a fight. It's just
go protect the border.
We're in the truth.
Maze, let's send this silly fight. Let's turn our energies down to the south,
Let's
to
go
these
to the flag.
Mexicans.
Let's go
How
to
about
the
it, Maze?
anthem and the flag. The national anthem, the black national anthem, which somebody supposed to be black, hate it.
Maze, I gotta let you go.
That's not my problem. But if you don't understand it and what happened and why it's there, it got more Bible stuff in it than the other anthem does. Do the preamble to it. And that means
that's right.
you
We're supposed to
read
get to
it,
the end.
which one is close to religion and which one is close to war. A standing flag or somebody.
No, it's
talking
true. The
about-
American anthem is an anthem of war and victory.
Oh yeah,
It's true.
What is the black national anthem about?
I don't know. Some lift
Hey,
every
I have no
voice
clue.
and sing of blaming, hate blaming victimhood, most likely.
No, it's not no hate blaming victim.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is hate blaming victimhood.
Well, why don't you read some of the lines to it, or both of them, and let us
Lift
see.
every voice and sing. It's like, why? Why do we have to lift every voice and sing? It's like, why do we got to lift every what? What they were? Their hearts. They're so pitiful. They're so pitiful. Probably from slavery. They're complaining about slavery. They're so pitiful. We got to lift their voices up and sing. I already know what it's about, Maze.
If let earth and heaven ring, Earth and heaven ring. That's closer to a Christian than it is a flag with war. Isn't it?
I don't know.
I know you don't, honey.
I'm going to find out, and how about we talk about it next?
Find out. Put them together.
I'm going to go read it. I'm going to go read it, actually.
I mean, yes, it's written down.
We'll talk about it after. I got to let you go, Maze.
Okay, but have a good one. And to those that are ill and uninformed, get yourself together and stop pretending you're black.
We're trying,
you're
man.
not. Have a good one, Nick.
Take care, Maze. Call me again. All right, y'all. I got to go. It's time to go. Take care. I'm out. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let's check real quick. Super chats. Real quick. Liesel, thank you so much again. All right, y'all. I'm out. See you tomorrow. Bible Thumper Thursday on JLP Show. And, of course, the rest of the network. I'm out. Take care. Peace. And Lil Nick, too. Bye.